Last planner in construction, pair takt planning with last planner. Stop using CPM. Okay, so I'm excited about this video, but I need you to go with me here. I would make a whole lot more money if I just started a CPM scheduling company, because I'm really good at it, and we just started doing CPM consulting everywhere. Like literally we would make so much money. Actually, that's probably not a bad idea. But anyway, the main purpose of our business is to actually help people, which means that we have to pivot over to takt planning. We have to make sure that that's where we're heading. If you want Last Planner to work, you've got to pair it with takt and not CPM. Now let me just say, and you already know this, but the critical path method is a scheduling method. It's a predictive model that will take a start milestone, activities and logic ties in a sequence, logic tie them together, and run an algorithm that identifies the critical path by doing a forward and a backward pass. And what will happen is it will identify the critical path, which no matter how much people will say that you can add float and buffers at the end, is never what your consultants, arbitration experts, and owners will allow you to do. They will say, let's get me a schedule that moves everything to its early start, does not logic tie for crew flow, and that increases work in progress above the capacity of people and resources. And it will give you what's called the critical path. And that is the longest path in your construction schedule where if any activity is delayed, it will delay the entire project. Now I hear scheduling consultants all the time say, Jason, there's a difference between a critical path and the longest path. In the longest path, you can go ahead and put in buffers and schedule contingency. It never happens. And it's not how you will be dealt with if you're using it as a legal schedule. It is not a lecture. And if anybody says, well, hey, Jason, I actually do crew ties. I actually do start to start and finish to finish with lags inside of a sequence like the interiors. I actually do create buffers. I do have buffers inside cycle times and activities. I do all of these takt-like things. Well, you don't have a contractual schedule anymore. You do not have a legal schedule that will stand up to scheduling consultants and go through arbitration if you do that. There's no argument for CPM that says it will work. And takt will do all of the production-minded things, all of them, that's needed to protect people and make sure that you finish on time. So when you do takt the proper way in your master schedule, you will have correct intermediate milestones, because when you created the phases from the beginning had diagonal trade flow, and we use the calculator. And so this overall macro level takt plan, your master schedule, will be correct, and you will have an overall correct total project duration. And then when you come down here and you pull plan for each of these phases, if this was a parallelogram that hit the milestone as your contractual promise, you will in takt be able to accelerate without hurting trade partners and gain buffers before the milestone. That is a fact. Then you filter out to your weekly work plan, your look ahead plan, and you engage the last planner system in a remarkable way. This is how you do it in takt. Now there's a couple things here that I want to point out. In takt, you have correct milestones. When you pull plan, you're able to pull plan with the right number of zones, so your pull planning is correct. Your production plan, you will gain buffers. Your look ahead plan and your weekly work plan will both be correct, and you'll be able to implement last planner properly and have accurate percent plan complete numbers. Now, if you do it from CPM, let me explain what will happen. And this happens every time. This isn't like an occasional thing. Like I said, if I was smart, I would just go ahead and deceive everybody and start a CPM consulting business. I actually could do that. Anyway, what CPM will do is it will create a big old honking unverifiable schedule built by a siloed group of people or a single person that nobody can see or verify or fix or compare to a historical reference class. These intermediate milestones will be incorrect because they're all pushed forward to their early start without buffers and without trade flow. And then when you attempt to pull plan, what happens is, because you don't have the ability to zone, Your pull plan will just be a single pull plan to the milestone, which will be large batch. And this is key for everybody to understand. When you go try and get your 6-week look ahead plan, somebody will ask the trades to create it from scratch because the pull plan wasn't done properly. Then they will try and update CPM. Then when you get down to the weekly work plan, the schedulers will ask the trade partners again to create it from scratch, which wastes time. And then they will try and update the CPM again, and then try and give it out to the field. Now here's the problem with that. Not only is this a lot of extra processing, over processing, and wasting the trade partner's time, but your milestones aren't correct to begin with. Your pull planning is large batch and it's not gaining time. That means your look ahead plans are not correct. Your weekly work plans are not correct. And that means when you actually go to try and implement your day plans and your percent plan complete, you are not hitting. CPM activities typically hit between 15 and 45%. And you do not have a reliable system. And so when you implement Last Planner with Takt, you're hitting all of the key components. When you pair it with CPM, you fail at every step. And the other thing I would say, because you're always trying to have trades fix and solve the problems of the CPM, you're disrespecting people and wasting a lot of time. One of the first fixes for Last Planner is to pair Last Planner with Takt and not CPM. Now, again, if you're like, well, why can't we just do the Takt-like things in CPM? It would be an incredible waste of time, and now you actually don't have your legal schedule because you've done things that the CPM framework does not allow, and it does not allow contractually. So this is in 2 books, the 10 improvements to the Last Planner system and the 10 myths of CPM. We'll put those in the description below, and we'll turn this into a blog post for you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.